This is an older clip of Dave Rubin on a panel, but Dave Clip's great account has resurfaced it, and it's one of my favorites because Rubin's on this panel discussing the gay community and its place in politics, and he's at a conservative conference here. It's the National Conservatism Conference. And the panelists and the audience are just like completely not on board with what he's trying to say here and parse. So he does it multiple times when he's speaking here. He throws in homophobic stereotypes and jabs, and that's the only time that the audience responds. Just take a look at this, because this clip encapsulates, in my opinion, his entire professional existence. We lost Binder, but he'll be back shortly. Let's play this clip.
I know plenty of gay people that are horrified at what is coming out of the gay community now. I mean, truly horrified, because in many ways it's setting back a tremendous amount of progress. The progress of equality, the progress of, okay, you can enter the same contract that a heterosexual couple can, and now you can hopefully live a life that...
So this is step one of this, right? Where he is, good, we have you back, Binder. This is where he is blaming the way that gay people act, the culture of gay people. He's saying that is the reason why conservatives can't accept them, which is honestly, I mean, like, he is serving the same function that, say, Candace Owens serves, where she blames, like, where are the fathers? What's wrong with black culture? Like,
Bill Cosby, pull your pants up.
Yeah, this is a fundamentally conservative argument about, like, we can't accept you because of the way that you are, and it's your fault for being the way that you are. And Dave Rubin is a gay person saying this to conservative people. That's the value that he provides for them. But sometimes it's difficult for them to get out of their hateful mindset to even accept him. Like, even though he is serving that function for him, they will never fully accept him because of their bigotry. And he serves bigotry to them on a silver platter with his rhetoric about this. It's despicable, but continue.
I know plenty of gay people that are horrified at what is coming out of the gay community now. I mean, truly horrified, because in many ways it's setting back a tremendous amount of progress. The progress of equality, the progress of, okay, you can enter the same contract that a heterosexual couple can, and now you can hopefully live a life that is sustaining. You know, it's ironic because there's a huge conservative argument, I think, actually, for gay marriage. I lived in West Hollywood in LA. It's sort of the gayest place on earth. I mean, the crosswalks are rainbow. It's too much, frankly.
Okay, pause it there. See, this is... So you hear that guy laughing hysterically, one of the panelists. Notice this, and I just... It really is gross. I know he's funny, but he's a disgusting person. Like, he is trying to get the audience in the National Conservative Conference to warm up to the concept of gay marriage. Now, does he do this for any other groups? No, he does this because, you know, he's a member of the gay community and he wants his bread to continue to be buttered by his conservative audience. So he's trying incredibly tepidly to get them to be a little less bigoted. But the only way he feels comfortable approaching that argument to this audience is to immediately say it's too much. It's so gross, right? Go into a gay stereotype mode and using that. And of course, that's the one reaction he gets from this panelist guy who starts laughing hysterically. But just notice that this is his tick, because it is really like you're watching the psychology of this man play out in real time. Keep going.
A couple can, and now you can hopefully live a life that is sustaining. You know, it's ironic because there's a huge conservative argument, I think, actually, for gay marriage. I lived in West Hollywood in LA. It's sort of the gayest place on earth. I mean, the crosswalks are rainbow. It's too much, frankly. But there's nothing sadder to me than when you see, you know, this a 70-year-old guy that's spray tanned and fake hair. It sounds like Trump, but that's not what I mean.
Comedian over
you know, that works out all day and carries his little dog and has nothing to live for other than that, and maybe being on the hunt still because he couldn't engage, because 50 years ago the world was very hostile to him and couldn't then get in a relationship that would be the thing that conservatives would want, even if it wasn't exactly the relationship that conservatives would want. So I actually don't want those things taught. I think that Douglas could probably explain this a lot better. I mean, the tea thing is completely...
Pause it. What things taught? I'm sorry. What things taught? That a man is like, has a tan and has a dog that he carries around? What things taught? Can you guys unpack that mystery for me? What is he talking about? As opposed to like, I want all gay people to be a little less brazen about being gay and not get a spray tan and have a dog that's big and masculine.
Yeah.
I mean, give me a break, dude.
I mean, given that he says Douglas, I'm assuming he's talking about Douglas Murray, who is himself a gay sort of like genocide apologist.
I did not know he was gay.
Yeah, I know. He doesn't go on about it like Dave Rubin does, but he is. And what he means is CRT and LGBT acceptance stuff in schools, because that's Douglas Murray's beat.
Anyway, you guys, I've been dominating, so you guys weigh in if you'd like.
Oh, is there no more clip? Because he just keeps going on with these, like, you know.
No, there's more. There's more.
Oh, yeah, let's keep escalating. Let's finish it out.
Let's keep going.
Wasn't exactly the relationship that conservatives would want. So I actually don't want those things taught. I think that Douglas could probably explain this a lot better. I mean, the tea thing has completely just dysregulated the entire conversation here. But I think in many cases, it's like we have to be able to separate. When you're talking about that carve out, we have to have that carve out. I would say I would be a little worried. I'm still a little worried. Yeah.
Of course you're worried, because what I'm asking you to do is to be willing to consider. I mean, it's like in a dialogue, in a negotiation, but to be willing to consider something other than the maximal dream scenario.
Yes, I fully accept that.
In order to give the Christian majority the possibility of running a Christian society in Christian areas, right? That's
not only do I accept that, I will be very clear. I would strongly prefer that public schools teach the Old Testament and the New Testament rather than drag queen story hour. So.
Wait, first of all, I can confirm that public schools aren't teaching drag queen story hour. That's a completely voluntary thing parents take their kids to at libraries, like libraries that anyone can go to, not school libraries, like public libraries.
Oh, well, I mean, to be fair, Binder, like I think the New York school district has had, with parental permission, drag queens come in and read to classes before.
The horror.
I didn't know, but
yeah, and then you see this. Yeah, I know exactly. It's like, and parents agree to that, right? Like, I mean, who cares?
But also, that's very specific. That's like the exception, right? Most of these drag queen story hours that the right goes over the top about are completely voluntary events, mostly taking place on like weekends or after school hours that parents take their kids to because the parents choose to do that, and they're part of that whole experience.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I was going to say, it's a little hard to watch. Like most Dave Rubin stand-up specials, it's a little hard to watch. But, it's just, he's very desperate, kind of like Candace Owens, kind of like Laura Loomer, maybe Ben Shapiro too, to be like one of the good ones for a crowd of bigots. And, he shifts to this idea that what's keeping, gay people, standing for Black people, standing for Jewish people from like being accepted and integrated into the conservative sphere is that they have these sort of behavioral and cultural traditions that are distinct from like real Americans. And that is what they're reacting to. I think towards the end there, when he was saying like the T thing, he was referring to trans people, like, adding the T to LGBTQ, like makes it a sort of separate issue, like a lot of transphobes do. But what I don't think maybe he does understand this and he's just comfortable with like still saying it. But I don't think what the people who fall into the trap of like repeating those things earnestly understand like that's just a lie. Like when people refer to like the culture and behavior of like Black people or Jewish people or women or gay people and give that like the why people hate them, it's just a stand-in for like the old arguments about like race being genetic, sexuality being defined by like people's like moral or intellectual failures. And these are just coded terms that like they don't believe in the crowd. If you believe them, you've been tricked, and you've been tricked into believing that there's some sort of core of Republican or far right mentality that is based in like behavior and freedom, but it's not. They're bigots. Like the thing that keeps you from being quote unquote one of the good ones in their eyes is that you're gay. Not that you like rainbows, not that you like, not that you that you like to kiss your boyfriend, but like, the rainbow thing is a sign that you're gay, and they don't like the gay thing, not they don't like the rainbow. Like, I guess that's just silly. Like, if you fall for that trap, it's because like, you're as childish as they are, but like, no, like they don't like Black people because they're like Black. The fact that like they're the Black culture is like just a coded term that they use for like Black people.
Dave is to your point, Brandon, you're exactly right. Like Dave is alluding to something I think Douglas Murray said earlier in the clip where he's saying, or one of his ideological pillars, which is like, you can take the T out and use the trans idea or trans issue as something completely separate from cis gay issues, basically. But I think Rubin is basically saying, I'm okay with that. I'm actually fine with that carve out as long as we, as long as we keep some semblance of like civil union education or like gay education in the curriculum, to be like, if that old guy had the option to marry, he wouldn't be cruising the streets of West Hollywood looking
like a
for
degenerate,
a
degenerate, right? And that's the thing, is like, this is a bit of an older clip, right? Before I think Rubin announced to his audience that he was having children with his partner via surrogate, and this is just a glimmer into like how he was beginning to distance himself from trans people, because now that transphobia has exploded, it was always around, but it's become kind of like an operating principle for the right now. Rubin is more than willing to demonize and throw trans people under the bus, or people who dress in drag, because it's like the way for him to continue to keep the gravy train rolling and to seek water in the desert, aka acceptance for being gay within the conservative movement, as a way to like, one, I think just, justify the fact that he's continuing to go down this road, but also to keep himself employed in this way. These are the bedfellows that he has now, and he's reaping what he sowed.
I want to say, I wouldn't normally do this, but Mayor Eric Adams, in a statement, admonished the councilwoman for her comments. The councilwoman called this drag time story hours grooming. And Adams, at a time when our LGBTQ plus communities are under increased attack across this country, we must use our education system to educate, the mayor said. The goal is not only for our children to be academically smart, but also emotionally intelligent. Drag storytellers in the libraries and schools that support them are advancing a love of diversity, personal expression, and literacy that is core to what our city embraces. Thank you, Mayor Adams.
Matt, that happened to be Joanne Areola, the council
Palladino,
member?
I think.
Or Palladino.
Vicky Palladino.
Oh, Vicky. Oh, yeah.
Can I guess that she represents Staten Island?
She's a queen. She's a Queens.
Queens.
A deep Queens. I'm just curious from my past work.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Bradley used to work for the city.
I did. Yeah.
Yes, he did.
Anyway. I'm very familiar with her. Yes, she is right here, nearby, right next door. Yes.
Yeah, like the New York City public school system is like a multi-billion-dollar institution that is like, you can basically run like a business. They're not going to be like, pressured by YouTubers into making it more dangerous and less profitable for them to do what they do. So, I think that's like a big part of the Eric Adams pushback. There are a lot of, I hate to say it, it's just like a calculation. There are a lot of LGBTQ donors in New York City. Maybe probably just like Nancy Pelosi's district. That's not the kind of like a play that's going to work in our, in our New York City. And it basically won't even work in Staten Island, because
No. I
Okay.
just wanted to say, to add to your point, that's part of why he was saying, like, don't, after the Don't Say Gay bill, like, Floridians come back here.